Hey everyone, thanks for joining me and I hope you're all having a great day. And welcome to Coastal Psychic Vibes Spiritual School episode number 2. I'm coming from the beautiful Summerland Point in New South Wales, Australia, and I'm your host, Kimm. And today I want to have a chat to you about regulating your nervous system and why that's such an important subject to navigate, especially while we're having a spiritual awakening. Um, it really changes everything, and it certainly changed a lot in my life as well. It was something that changed my life more than tarot and mediumship and manifestation. It was just really learning how to regulate that nervous system, and because you really can't spiritually awaken if your nervous system doesn't feel safe. And, it's getting that nervous system and your body's internal system feeling safe. And, your nervous system really decides whether you are in danger, whether you need to fight, flight, or flee, or even just shut down. It really does perceive, it responds to that perceived safety and not your logic at all. And when you're experiencing overwhelming situations, especially early in life, the nervous system does learn how to adapt. It becomes more, it feels more alert, protective, and even hypervigilant at times. And over time, though, we can mistake this protection for our personality. And dysregulation can show up in many forms. It can show up in anxiety, depression. It can come up as emotional reactivity, sort of numbness, even addiction patterns, people pleasing, overthinking, but even just not, trusting yourself. And even like those sensitive people and intuitive people especially, that dysregulation can blur intuition and amplify fear within ourselves. And spiritual experiences can often feel overwhelming just as they are without having a dysregulated nervous system. So when the whole body doesn't feel safe, you really start to question things. And, in my early 30s, I really started looking into my nervous system and, looked at grounding practices like meditation and mediation, inner child work, and body awareness. And, slowly after doing those things, my system did start to soften and that depression did start to really ease. And, even those addictive patterns of mine that I had, they started to loosen as well. But more than any of that, my intuition started to become a lot more clearer. So, there are things that you can do, and a couple of quick things that you could probably do just for yourself starting today is, you can start with your breathing and, just taking that slow breath in for for 4 breaths, holding and then releasing those breaths for 6 seconds, just makes a little bit difference with calming that nervous system down. You can also sit and think, 5 things that, I can see, 4 things that I can hear, and, even 3 things that you can hear in the moment. And that can, again, just bring you down to that nice, relaxed state again. Because when we do reduce stimulation, when we're overwhelmed, having less input can really settle your system down a bit. Another thing is to have compassionate self-talk, like stop talking negative to yourself. Those things can all help, reduce those things. Even sitting with your feet on the floor, hand on your heart, and taking some deep breaths in. All these little practices can help just regulating that nervous system of yours. Or we can also, you know, our decisions become clearer too. When that body starts to feel safe, those ideas and those intuitions start coming through. Spiritual awakening is often described as a journey, an expanded awareness, and like a deeper connection. And a heightened sensitivity can the energy, a lot of people going through that spiritual awakening, meditation and intuitive development, or even the spiritual practices, and one of the more overlooked things is the process of, nervous system dysregulation. And it's your body that needs to feel safe to allow these things to come out. And, your nervous dysregulation, it really influences your ability to access your intuition. And, when we connect to that subtle energy and remain grounded, and like, that's when our integrated spiritual insights start to come through. And, a spiritual awakening can feel overwhelmed enough, it can feel very confusing at times and destabilizing. But with a regulated nervous system, that awakening process becomes more of an embodiment of the clarity and more of a deeper inner trust within yourself. And, the nervous system constantly scans our environment all the time for safety and danger through a process called neuroception. And, when your nervous system perceives safety, our body enters a regulated state. And, this is often referred to as the parasympathetic state. And, your breath slows down and you're able to reflect more on your emotions and have that safety within you. And, a spiritual awakening does require safety, because the awakening involves becoming more aware of your inner world. And, the nervous system is dysregulated, then, that increased awareness can trigger anxiety, fear, and emotional overwhelm as well. And many people have that experience, that heightened sensitivity in racing thoughts, emotional flooding, and even insomnia during their awakening. And however, these experiences, are often not spiritual expansion, but more of a nervous system dysregulation. And when the nervous system is in that sympathetic state, that fight or flight state, the body is really preparing it for danger. And energy becomes chaotic, and your mind starts to race, and the body starts to feel restless and unsafe. And, when someone's in that dorsal vagal state, that shutdown or freeze state, they start really feeling disconnected and numb and detached. But learning to regulate that nervous system really helps distinguish, your intuitive awareness and, from, those body trauma responses and stress responses that we do get. And, intuition doesn't speak through panic or urgency. It's definitely more of a subtle, calm, steady feeling or knowing. When it's the regulated state of a nervous system, your mind becomes so much quieter. Your body becomes more receptive to those subtle signs that come through. Our inner guidance becomes easier to recognize. And, yeah, many people believe that, they lose their intuition through stressful periods, but in reality, that it's just that nervous system that's simply overwhelmed. And, and once the body does return to its regulated state, your intuitive awareness really just sort of naturally does return back to you. As people awaken spiritually, they often become more sensitive to emotional and energetic environments, and definitely feel other people's emotions more strongly, and feel overwhelmed in going out in public places and crowded places. They really absorb stress and energy from other people. And if that nervous system isn't regulated, then that sensitivity can really feel exhausting or destabilizing. That regulation in a spiritual awakening often brings in those profound sights, that identity and the purpose and your own personal truth. However, that alone doesn't create that transformation. The transformation actually happens when insight is integrated into the body and daily life. That regulated system allows the brain to process new perspectives, release some old, those old patterns that we create, and create that lasting change without overwhelming your system. A true awakening is not about escaping the body or living in that higher states of consciousness. It's about embodying the awareness while being grounded in your everyday life. That nervous system regulation really anchors that spiritual awareness into the physical body, and creates that resilience and the ability to navigate life with clarity. When people are grounded in the body, everyone's, you feel more present and more emotionally balanced and just more connected to yourself, and just being able to be more capable of navigating those challenges when they do arise. That nervous system is not separate from a spiritual awakening. It is the foundation. And when the body does feel safe and the mind feels quiet, the intuition becomes so much clearer, and your spiritual insights then begin to integrate into a stable and meaningful way. All those beautiful practices like breath work, meditation, grounding, are all great techniques to allow your awakening to unfold, in a more supportive way rather than an overwhelming one. It's about creating the nervous system that feels safe enough to hold the expansion of your awakening. And that's why I have put that as my first component in my Awaken and Anchor 12-week program. It is such an important component that we need to start with, and just to allow that awakening to continue safely to you, but just so you can explore that awakening, in that safe spot. If you've got any questions or you'd like to know more about my Awaken and Anchor program, please feel free and message me through my Coastal Psychic Vibes Spiritual School and or through my Kimm Dunk page as well. So that's the nervous system regulation. It's a very important topic, and thank you for that. And I think I'd love to start with a listener. Have we got a caller today? Hey, Cassandra, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Where are you calling from, Cassandra?
I'm calling from Roseau, Minnesota.
Ooh, nice. Cassandra, I pulled out the Knight of Water. Have you got a man coming into your life?
I don't. I feel like that is the case, but I wasn't 100% sure. Like, you
Yeah,
can kind of just. I'm very spiritually aware myself, and like I can feel it, but I'm still like, what is
yeah.
this?
Yeah, no. I pulled out the Knight of Water. Romantic, flirtatious, falling in love, being swept off your feet, a sudden love affair. He's definitely coming in for you. And I feel like it's more of a balanced relationship for you. I feel like in the past, the energies haven't been as matched quite as well. And I feel like this time, I feel like you've probably been doing a little bit of work on yourself, and your energy and your vibration has really rised up. And I feel like this guy that's coming in is going to meet you on that same level.
Wow, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah, nice. I feel like this is going in the next couple of months. I'm just gonna pull out my quick little pendulum here. Penny, hello everybody. This is Penny. And Penny, is this gentleman coming in before August this year? Yeah, I think it's more between now and August. I feel like he's definitely going to be coming in, and he's going to sweep you off your feet. And I'm so excited for you. Good on you.
Cool. That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, so have confidence. There's definitely someone out there for you. Just keep working on yourself and keeping your vibration nice and high. And yeah, he's going to meet you on that level. And I feel like he's really going to sweep you off your feet.
Cool. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Have a great night.
You too. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
Bye.
Thank you. So that's the end of my show already, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. And again, my Coastal Psychic Vibes Spiritual School, that Awaken and Anchor program is men or women who are waking up and just feeling unsure of where to go to next. And I'd be more than happy to walk you through that and give you all the support and love that you need on your journey. So thank you so much. And I am so, so grateful to be here again this week.